Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Mike is here. Ames is here. Hi, Amy. How are you?
How's it going?
Good. This is interesting. I'm taking it all in.
Take it all
This
in,
is a
Mike.
different place. Yeah, this is a nice hotel you're in.
Yeah, it's a decent hotel.
It's not bad. Yeah, your bed's not made.
Well, no, you know what? You know what, Mike? You know fucking what? I sat down here and I waited for you for about 6 minutes. And I already had my headphones in. And I thought, God, you know what? Someone's going to say
I'm going to mess up the bed real quick.
No, somebody's going to say something about that bed not being made. And then I was like, I should go fix it. But then it would involve me taking my headphones out. And I just sat here for 6 minutes and leave it to you to fucking be the first one to say something.
Well, here's the thing.
I took a nap when I got in from my meetings.
And you were under the covers, clearly. You used
Yeah,
multiple
it
pillows.
was tough to get up for this.
It looks like there's still some blue sky out there. So it's
more grayish sky.
Yeah. It's been shitty here today too.
It was the loudest, craziest thunderstorms this morning. And my first hotel that I was at lost fucking power.
The hotel
did?
The
hotel. The only thing I had to get ready was this ring light that I have up for my laptop. And I had juice on my laptop. So I plugged that in to get ready this morning, but that's the only light I had.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think power went out at hotels. It was out for probably an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think they'd have an auto generator that just kicks on and you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I was staying at a Hilton. It's not like I was staying at some, fucking motel.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you at now? Are you at another Hilton?
I'm at another Hilton, but by the O'Hare Airport.
I like Hilton.
Here. Yeah, I'm a Marriott gal usually, but
Marriott's good too.
My company is preferred with Hilton, so I've been staying at more Hiltons. But I have to admit, this morning when the power went out, I was like, this does not happen at the Marriott. I've never lost power at the Marriott. So
I've never heard of a hotel losing power. I mean, outside of like the tsunami, I'm assuming those hotels in the tsunami zones, maybe they lose power, but
because the fucking generator goes with it.
Yeah, when you got 8 feet of water on the first floor, that's gonna happen. I don't hold that against them.
If you went out into the I should have taken a picture of it. When you went in the in the hallway, all the floodlights were on. Those were the only lights that were on out there. So
wow,
it's pretty interesting.
No, it's weird that it makes me hotels make me uncomfortable for doing this sort of thing. I give you guys a lot of credit. Dave Landau does a lot of them on the road. I'm always I know there's cameras in my room and strangers are watching me. I know people have bugged the phones and, that's just a given.
Yeah. I mean, we all knew what happened to Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So I imagine everything's being filmed and recorded, but then I feel like the hotel room walls are super thin. And so when you're having to it's my biggest nightmare is people outside of this little area listening to anything I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, I wonder if my neighbors can hear me and if I'm really loud and if they're like, what the fuck is she doing over there? And why hasn't she shut up for 2 hours?
Yeah. Well, I'm the gotta have the TV on 24 hours guy.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So I'm conscious about it when it's okay, do I turn this down? How down is enough?
Yeah.
But I'm that guy. How psychopaths sleep without a TV on, it just mind blowing to me.
Mind blowing.
I have to have an iPad going. I need the blue light glow, the shit that's going to kill me faster.
Yep.
I need as much of that on me as I can have.
For sure.
Yeah. No, this is just
it's funny that you say that about them watching you in the room because my headphones just went out. Oh, that was so weird.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Do I? All right. Anyway, so I'm checking in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
That's the real question.
Not through my headphones, and it's very irritating. Mike, this is just an irritating day for me.
Shit show. Absolute shit show.
But when I was checking in, they have a sign that is like,
I'm going to switch our design while you're talking.
You get charged $300 every time you smoke or vape in the room. Not just like a cleaning fee of like $250, you know, if you smoke. It's 300 times every time you do it.
How the hell do they know unless they're watching you?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got busted in New York once.
I got busted in Houston.
It was like a big deal. It was like,
they sent someone to your room.
I wasn't there. I was staying with a buddy. So I was going to New York and he was like, fuck it, I'll meet you there. And so I was like, all right, just get one of those double rooms or whatever. I was doing Kumia's show and my buddy Derek was coming to town. And we got hammered till like 4 a.m. And he's like, and we're at 20 floors up at some fucking high-rise shit box, you know. But and he was like, just open a window and smoke out there if you want. I was like, all right, cool. And it didn't cost me anything because he's like, I'll meet you there. My company will pay for my room. I'll just get a double and we'll be good. You won't have to pay for a room. And I'm like, perfect. He's like, just smoke out the window. I was like, no problem. You know, had a couple, just whatever. And yeah, they came knocking on the door. So I left, you know, the next morning, or he had to go to work. And then he was going to meet me over at the studio. And so I get to the studio and I'm getting these frantic calls. He's freaking out. Like, I could lose my job over that. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, you were the drunk idiot that told me to fucking smoke out the window last night.
Right.
And how the hell, like, okay, prove it. Prove that was me. Yeah. First off, I opened the fucking window and it's littered with cigarette butts on the metal roof below. So that could have been from floor 25, floor 18. Who the fuck knows?
How do they know that?
Tell them I'm a non-smoker. What are they going to do? Frisk me? Show me the camera.
Right.
So anyways, nothing ended up happening. It was fine, but it was like, Jesus Christ. Don't tell no one tell on Drew. Drew has a way to do this. He does not give a fuck.
I usually don't either. And I don't, and I usually, you know, I'm not smoking cigarettes. Okay. So I don't usually care. I usually just do it in my room and fucking whatever.
Vape though? Vape
was on the sign. Yes. But I usually just like, I'll smoke a joint in my room. I don't care. So I was in Houston and I had a really bad migraine and I smoke weed for my migraine. So I just like had a couple hits of a joint. I'm laying down trying to get rid of my migraine and there's this banging on my door. And it's like, wake up or answer the door. This is the front desk. It's an emergency. And they're like banging on the door. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I get up and it's this very nice lady. And she was like,
bitch,
you smoking in here? And I was like, yeah, I had like 3 puffs of weed because I have a prescription for my migraines. I was like, it's like the equivalent of my medicine. And she was like,
well, the medicine argument. I love it. I love the medicine argument.
Do it in here. And I was like, okay. I was like, sorry, it won't happen again or whatever. And then I started thinking, you know what? That was really inappropriate how they went about doing that. So I like called back down to the front desk. I was like, can I talk to your manager? I was like, listen, I was like, I understand that this is a rule. I'll pay the fine, whatever. Not a big deal. But for you guys to send someone up to my room and start banging on the door, screaming how it's an emergency, that freaked me out and totally unnecessary. Like totally. This was not an emergency, FYI.
Yeah. No.
Don't come up here doing that shit.
No. We have turned into such a pussy country. I get it. People don't like, especially cigarette smoke. And even with weed smoke, people go a little far with some of that shit, what they get away. Sure. But like, honestly, okay, you hit a joint a couple times. Like, I want to be the guy that doesn't give a fuck, that just goes, yeah, okay, whatever. Like when we were in Dallas,
you're rich enough, you can do that because you can pay the fine. And what the fuck are they going to do?
Yeah, when I went to met Drew in Dallas, he's at like not to blow up his scene, but he's not staying at the Marriott, right?
If he's staying at like, you know, the nice Marriott, like the you know, the top of the food chain Marriott.
No, he's staying at the fucking place
Like
with a
the
spiral
Ritz.
staircase in the middle of it with the second floor. Like
Yeah.
that's he's Drew.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a
Yeah.
fuck. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to see it place?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come on up. I'll show you the room." And so I go up this little spiral staircase, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" The shower's going. There's no one in it. It's just on hot. He's like, "Yeah, I just smoke in here and just let the steam take care of it."
That's
He's like,
totally
"Whatever."
what you do. Yeah.
And room service is knocking on the door. "Oh, there you go. Here's your shit." And not a care in the world.
No.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly. Because he can afford not to.
And then, and then you get the ones like ours, like,
yeah, emergency.
There's an emergency outside.
Emergency. I was like, I thought the fucking building was on fire.
Oh, why wouldn't you? That's how they were in New York. Think about that. New York City, Manhattan.
Right.
Like 22nd floor of a shithole. An absolute rat-infested shithole. And they're going to make a fucking federal case because someone opened a window at 3 a.m. and hit a cigarette 3 times before throwing it. Like, really?
Right.
Why don't you worry about the current rape taking place 5 floors below me? Or, whatever else is going on in this.
Yeah. Why don't you worry about all the migrants you have sleeping on the levels 1 through 5?
Right. Exactly. Like, really, this is what you ran up here. You fucking called at 4 a.m. to raise holy hell because someone, this is New York City, right? They've made movies about what this place is really like. There's a dead body in the fucking alleyway I just passed. You know that, right?
But, do you know that Easus just shit in the lobby?
Shit on the carpet. He kicked it too. Fucking Easus. God, I had so much fun with Easus yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was super fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it again. Anyways, so it's kind of wild when you go around the country though, because you tend to think that your little area is just how it is.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, when I drove to California, for instance, and it's like, oh, I'll spend the night in Palm Springs and then go up to San Francisco because I got Cece with me. I'm not just going to drive all the way through. I got to think about the baby, let her stretch her legs and sleep in a normal bed with her D, that kind of stuff. And it's just like so fucking California. Like, oh, don't stand within 5 miles. You see all the signs everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't be within 5,000 yards of the door and have a cigarette. And, and I don't care. I'm not even smoking. I've got my Zyn. I'm fine.
Right.
But it's just like, oh, fuck off. These people know. Just, if someone goes around the corner, just leave them a fucking alone.
Yeah, just leave them alone. Exactly.
Walk through it. You'll live.
You'll live.
Trust me, there's a ton of annoying shit that all of you are doing that I just ghost on by. I go on by and let you fucking smell like whatever for whatever bourgeois bullshit you're into. I just go on by, chuckle, and go about your day. This need to police each other everywhere we are. And then you go to Dallas and it's like, how you doing? Would you like a smoking room? You're just like, what? You just stepped into 1984 and it's just like, funny. Would you like an ashtray in that room? And you're like, no, I'm good, man.
It's so funny to think about like how restaurants, you just used to have a smoking section and you walked by and you could smell. I mean, I think I talked about, I worked at Leo's Coney Island, not a big place, but the back, like 7 booths were the smoking section and people just
hilarious. My favorite was Big Boy. No, my favorite was Big Boy. I'd go into Big Boy and it was like, oh, the smoking section back here. And it was just like you said, 7 booths in the back corner, just a fucking cloud of smoke.
Yep.
Not a care in there. And those people are going to be hanging out for a couple hours.
Hell yeah.
Just getting coffee refills. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, 1 booth outside of the smoking section is a family of 4 with their 2 little kids.
Yep. So funny.
Just doing this the whole time.
Yep.
So funny. Airplanes were hilarious. I mean, it's an old bit.
That I can't get over. Like, that is so crazy to me that they used to smoke on airplanes.
Yeah. I mean, some of them still have the ashtrays in the armrest. And you're like, this plane's been around since the 80s.
You should not fly on that airplane. If you get on an airplane and it has a fucking ashtray, get off.
Yes. Dude, I have seen them, and I don't fly Frontier. I don't fly Spirit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't typically
That's an old
go.
plane.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
would freak me out. I remember them being
Yeah.
there, but they were like right there in the armrest.
By the way, there is almost nothing better than getting on a plane and you know it's new.
Oh, I know.
Like, I never realized the difference. Delta's been pretty good about this. I've done a lot of Delta flights over the last few years. I prefer Delta. And when you get on one and it's like, oh, I thought all the Delta flights were sweet until I got in this badass. Look at this plane. And it's like, it's so much nicer, so much cooler. But
yeah,
I just booked my flight for Dallas coming up, American. It's the best I could do.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm Googling, what are the cheap fuck poor people airlines? And they're like, Spirit, Frontier, Allegiant, whatever, Allegiant Air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't want one of those.
Yeah.
And
my
so
mom
it's like
takes some random ghetto ass airline to Vegas, and I wish I could think of the name of it.
Hooters.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that airline? What are you even doing?
Yeah. That's so funny. But I was just like, no, I can't fly on those. And Delta turns it into a 9-hour trip.
Yeah.
That's the problem is there's no direct.
Right.
Like I said. But it's like, okay, next best thing. So I'm hoping on their website, I'm trying to find out, do you at least have the fucking TV in the headrest?
Yeah.
Because every fucking Delta flight has it. It's the best.
It is awesome.
Yeah. And so
what do you watch? Do you watch live TV or you
depends
watch a movie, or you raw dog it?
I was forced to raw dog it recently because I assumed, because it tricks you on the website. It's like, oh, most flights have in-air entertainment. I'm like, okay,
you're fucking reading the website about this,
dude. I had to Google it. I had to grok it and be like, all right, what am I doing? Because if not, I'll bring an iPad, and now I got to have a connector cord to make sure I can. Like Delta, I don't worry about it. I don't worry. Like, I won't even bring something like that, or my phone and a charger. I won't even bother. I mean, I'll obviously bring my phone, because Delta's just got it on lock, man. Yeah. Every flight has the screens, and so I had one where I'd scheduled it and not realizing, which is just mind blowing for me of all people, that there was a Michigan game going on. It was around COVID, and there was a night game. And it was the year that Michigan sucked and then canceled their game with Ohio State.
Yep.
So I think I watched half and was like, this is just, this team sucks so bad. I went to like watch Curb Your Enthusiasm reruns or something.
Yeah.
But I watched part of the national championship game was going on last time I left Dallas. I just didn't give a shit. It was Ohio State and whoever
the
they played. Yeah, didn't care, but I had it on. Why? What do you do? What's your go-to? Do you movie it?
I just have like ESPN on, and I'm usually just or sports. Like, I've been watching March Madness when I've been on the plane, but I'm usually listening to a podcast or something on my phone.
Yeah, that's kind of my go-to as well. Podcasts on the phone with headphones. I've done that a lot.
Yeah, and then I'll just have something on in front of me, or I'll track the flight, where we're at.
Yeah. Last time I went, I was on an American flight and it didn't have the screen, and I didn't know that until I got to the airport. And then I was like, well, shit, because usually I've got this one old pair of Apple earphones because they've still got a cord.
Yeah.
And I the only reason I have them is because I don't want their shitty ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, better than nothing. This will work in the plane. But they didn't have that. And I'm like, I didn't bring my wireless headphones. So I had to buy a pair, spend $200 or something on a pair of Beats or something.
You had to.
Absolutely. I wasn't going to raw dog it and just sit there like a cereal.
Maniac. Dude, you would have started jerking it or something, and then you'd be on a no-fly list.
Yeah.
Like, what? I was bored. God, I didn't have any fucking headphones.
If I see, because I realized at that point, it's like, okay, I have my phone on me. I don't have a book because I'd moved and I hadn't unpacked everything. So I didn't even have a book. I didn't even have a magazine. I would have looked like a serial killer sitting there with my hands to my side, just like flying. like an asshole. So there was no way I was going to be that guy. Like they'd probably have the police waiting for me at the gate. So I was like, I got to spend, it was actually more like $100, $120 or something.
It's funny, Mike. I'm the exact same way. I lost my AirPod case when I was in Houston last. Turns out somebody that I work with found it. So that was good. But I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to buy new AirPods at the airport.
Yeah.
I was like, because God forbid I fly home without fucking AirPods.
No, psychopath. That's like flying without pants. Like you're just as crazy. You could be flying nude and I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
No headphones? What is she crazy? Like,
yeah, my coworker was like, oh, that's going to be a long flight home. I'm like, you think I'm not going to buy more headphones at the airport? Are you crazy? I'm about to fucking DoorDash some to the hotel.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. I'm glad. Yeah. See, I always think I'm kind of crazy for these thoughts. I'm glad that I get backup from some people out there like you. Like, believe it or not, Amy, there are people that would just be like, well, I guess I just sit here like a serial killer.
Yes, I have to wait for Christmas to get a new set of AirPods. You know?
No.
Yeah.
No. No, I'd rather go way far into debt and not deal with that. That is a problem for tomorrow.
100%.
We will deal with that another day. Today, me sit here like an asshole for 2 straight hours.
Not happening.
Think again. No. So I'll be prepared on this one. I will have my iPad. I'll have my phone. I'll have my wireless headphones, and I'll have my cord set. So
good to know, Mike.
I'll be good.
I can rest easy tonight knowing that you will be all set on the airplane.
Yeah. It's weird seeing you in a darkened room like that with just a light on you with an unkempt bed. Like
unkempt bed.
Like it's serial killer-ish in its own way.
Unkempt bed. I could beat your ass.
I'm waiting. There's probably a naked, like tied up guy in the corner with duct tape on his mouth, just off screen that we can't see.
I don't think so. I don't see anyone.
All right. Oh, you went to McAllister. All right.
I did. I didn't really eat much though. Like all my food's just kind of sitting here.
Yeah.
Kind of a dickhead when it comes to eating.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. I have like 2 bites of my food and then I'm done with it. And it drives me
you're that
crazy.
Person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's always like, oh, you didn't like it? And it's like, no, I fucking liked it fine. Just stop. Yeah. Stop talking to me about it.
Yeah.
My mom does the same thing. So like I'll pay for whenever I'm out with my mom. Well, now that I'm a grown up, I pay for stuff for us anyway. But even before that, I was like, I'm paying for this because I don't want to hear you bitch about how I only took 2 bites. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't pay for it. So don't worry about it.
It's the one thing I love the most about the warden is the warden doesn't eat much. She's all fucked up. But you know, it's from childhood, like she wasn't fed or something. And so she's got all these hangups and issues. It's great. And, but when you go out, she's one of those that like gets 5 appetizers and a main course and then nibbles here and there.
Yep.
And I'm the person that's like, my brother is like, I'll have a cheeseburger and fries and he'll drink that and he'll eat his burger and fries and that's it. And I'm like, I bet that French onion soup's good. I wish I could try that. Oh man, they got cheese sticks too. I wouldn't mind seeing how their cheese sticks are. Oh, potato skins. And the warden's just like, yeah, we'll take all that shit.
Yeah.
It's great because G shames me. He shames me, you know, if it's like, I kind of want to try that. But I still want the steak too, obviously, but so I got the warden there as backup. She's my restaurant backup. So I get it. It's like, hey, we all can nibble a little bit. You know, we're all try the pretzel bites. Don't worry about it.
I love pretzel bites.
Yeah, they're great. Those giant ones they're doing now, the like Bavarian. Have you seen those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got some of those.
I prefer a bite, I think. Pretzel bite.
Yeah, so you don't have to finger them and manhandle them and break. Yeah.
A little bit more messy.
Yeah. Anyway, airports these days, I don't know what's going on. We had the naked broad.
Yeah.
In Dallas, ironically. We had another naked broad. There's been a couple of them recently. I'm all for this. I don't want to see any naked guys. I haven't seen any naked guys. Would you find that entertaining if there was just some guy that ripped off all his clothes and was running around?
Yeah.
You know, if he was pulling a Donald Duck or Winnie the Pooh,
I
just
would
totally pantsless.
But I wouldn't find it hot or anything.
Yeah.
Well, I'd find it entertaining.
What if it was what did you do?
My fucking microphone's all fucked up. Just go with it.
Travis.
Well, I'm in a hotel, Mike.
Yeah.
It's just a situation with this cord.
No, you're pushing buttons or something, and all of a sudden I can hear myself. And
I know. I'm not pushing buttons, I swear. It's like coming unconnected. If I move the slightest bit, my microphone unplugs. So I'm just trying to stay perfectly still.
All right. I'm one of those people, if I saw a naked guy running through the airport, I'd find it utterly hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't care what he looks like. Naked man running through would be hilarious.
Yeah. It's like dick flapping around.
Yeah. Hilarious. Naked girl is a different animal altogether. If she's hot, great. That's fantastic. If she's hideous, then I get scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I don't know what she's up to.
Yeah.
You know, that one I want to keep an eye on.
The first naked chick, she had a decent body. Like that, you know.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with that. I hope Yeah, she seemed crazy. You know, I mean, she wouldn't shut up. That sucked. But
yeah.
We've got a new one. She was having a meltdown. Let's see. It was 10:06 yesterday morning. So that's the Dallas one. Let's see. Naked woman. Did you see this video, by the way?
No.
She took off her pants, leaving only her underwear on and her shoes. This was in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood Airport. Footage taken by a bystander shows the confused and disturbed flyers waiting to board their flights as she turned towards them and yelled with her titties exposed.
Sweet.
Yeah. For that. They blurted out. Well, I'm grateful. Oof. Look at those panties. Jesus.
Yeah, that's grim.
Fine, I'll put it back on and shit. No, stop. Look at that mess. Someone's hitting that.
Like, why? What would cause you to do that?
You know what? I hadn't thought about edibles. Can edibles do that?
I don't know. Maybe if you're like, oh my God, I'm so hot. You know, like, I need to take all my clothes off because I feel like I'm sweating to death. Maybe.
Let's see.
I took a cold shower with completely clothed one time because I was having a bad trip of edibles. So
yeah, but that's probably in your house. That's you in your house. I don't have any problem. Let's see. What else is going on in the background? What can we glean from this?
Of course, she's flying Spirit.
There it is. Yeah. Yep. You see the plane in the background.
Yeah. This is why I don't witness these things. They happen at the Spirit fucking desk. Damn.
Look at that ass. Where do you buy those? Is that still a Lane Bryant purchase? Is that what that is? Do you get those at Sears?
Those are like Fruit of the Loom, you know, period panties.
Do you get those at Walgreens or like the hardware store? Where do you get those?
Yeah. Like you buy those in a 6-pack.
Did you say period panties?
Yes, that's what those look like.
God, you guys have to wear certain underwear based on what time of the month. That's fucked up, man. I'm so sorry.
No, Mike. We don't have to. Some people do. It's not a requirement. I'm normal. I just do what I normally do. I don't have those, but that's what I would call those.
Okay, I gotcha. Look at this poor bastard here in a blue sweatshirt, just like,
this guy's like, fuck, I just want to get home.
Yeah.
That is
poor
so
thing.
Funny.
Yeah, and then you look at our friend in Dallas. Compared to that, this is much more acceptable. I don't know why. Even though it's more disruptive, it seems more appropriate.
Yeah, Mike, because she's skinny and completely
Is that what it is?
And she doesn't have gross underwear on.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy zooms in. Well, you get a better shot of the titties here in a second. as we're now not broadcast anywhere, but whatever. Yeah, she's more animated, lively. Yeah. Dude, I think you're right. I think this is edible induced.
It could be. People are probably taking too many edibles before they get on the plane and, tripping out.
So I think there was another one too, which I in early March, a Southwest flight was forced to return to its gate after a female passenger ran naked up and down the aisle for 25 minutes. The moment
you gotta return to the gate for?
Dude, that's the worst part of the story.
Yeah, fuck that. Like, detain her, and then we'll deal with it when we get where we're going. But you don't have to turn around.
No.
That would piss me off more than her running around naked.
For sure. Trip her. Whatever. What happened to duct taping people to seats? What are we doing?
Yeah. I was fine, and now I'm fucking pissed because we're turning around.
Yeah. Can't you play Tune in Tokyo on her? Remember that game?
Yeah. Totally.
Do something like that, or Purple Nurple, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
You could get her to sit down. It's a chick. What is she?
Where's the marshal? Where's the air marshal?
Yeah, shoot her. That's fair. Shoot her.
Shoot her. We wouldn't have to turn around.
Yeah, no, dude. If they came over and were like,
"Yeah, there's been a disturbance in the cabin. We will be returning to the."
I'd be like,
No.
I'd get up. That now it would get violent.
Yeah,
I might actually hurt a woman.
I think I would stand up. I would stand up and I would take a vote. I'd say, let's see a show of hands. Who wants to turn this plane around?
Yeah.
Or who wants to just keep going? All right, we all voted we want to keep going. We're all fine. Let's just keep it fucking moving.
Because too, that there's like federal law involved anytime the airlines are concerned.
Yeah.
Like, like there's going to be some bullshit regulation where you have to dock and then you have to deplane.
Yeah, and then you have to get a new flight crew.
Yeah, some hazmat crew has to come on and aerate some shit. And you're right. Yeah. Now this crew was scheduled to do this, and that's going to put them into overtime. We have to wait.
They can only work for 4 hours at a time, so we need to bring in someone else. And
we've got a crew coming in from Boston. They'll be here tomorrow morning, and then you can continue on your like. No, just duct tape her to a seat. What are we doing?
Yeah.
But that was.
There should be an empty seat on all airplanes. The last row reserved for unruly passengers who need to get duct taped down.
Yeah. I have no problem with that. One piece of duct tape over the mouth, tie their hands, staple them to a seat. Who cares? Let them freak out. Let them freak out the whole way. It's from Houston to Phoenix, that flight.
Ma'am, we're going to staple you to the seat.
Yeah, just your fingers and toes. One of those big
staple gun.
Absolutely. People would learn. If you knew you were getting stapled to your seat, you would think twice before.
Through your nipples to the seat or something.
Yeah.
Or through your dick hole.
Oh. Ugh. Just staple your dick right to the fucking.
Right. Yeah. We're going to staple your dick to the chair if you don't stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
It's not just the cheap ass airlines that have the problems. This story we didn't get to yesterday, but it's sitting here. And it reminded me, I don't know how you would react. Are you familiar with something called emetophobia?
No.
Yeah.
I bet it's a phobia of sorts.
It is. And I'm tired of all the phobias. Like, I'm not afraid of trans people or gay people.
Yeah.
This one, I'm sort of, there's certain phobias that I think apply. And I bet you're a emetophobic.
Tell me.
And I know I am. So Laura Junkin, she posted a video, explained the moment a passenger projectile puked on her.
Oof.
Ugh. Yeah. She then went on to criticize, she was on a Delta flight. She criticized employees for not offering much help during or after. She explained that she and her daughter were flying home from New York City, where they were seated at the back of the plane next to a storage area. She said the plane taxied for takeoff, and all of a sudden a man walked down the aisle trying to get his ass to the bathroom. Flight attendant was like, "Sir, you return to your seat." you just blow by her. If it's true emergency,
100%.
you're going to shit your pants or
100%.
projectile. Like,
yeah.
you just
or
go
you vomit on her.
Yeah. He doesn't move. He just stands there. He kind of has this funny look on his face, look to the ground, looks to the side and points, and then starts to cover his mouth. Before she could finish saying, "Oh my gosh, she's going to puke," the guy just puked everywhere. All over her and the plane, squirts out the sides because he covered his mouth to catch it, and it shot out the sides. It showers down the right side of my body. It was more than just liquid vomit. Covered her arm, the side of her body, her coat, the armrest, the seat. My pants started getting wet because it's seeping under my butt.
Mike, you need to stop.
I know. Are you in a metaphobic?
What is that? The fear of fucking being projectile vomited on?
Yeah.
Yes.
The fear of vomit. I am too.
I
rarely meet you people.
You know what? Yes. Because has Cece ever thrown up and you've had to clean it up like after it happens?
Many times.
I mean, the other day Diesel did that and Rocky and I we were taking turns cleaning it up and we were both like, and we're like running around. I'm like, what are we going to do when we have kids? It's going to be a bad situation.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I think you get used to it though.
Yeah. If it's your own brat.
I think that's why, what is the mercurium dump?
Yeah.
Is that what it is when the baby shits?
I know my stuff. Pulling out words like mercurium dump.
Yeah. Yeah. Mercurium dump. I don't know that that's the technical term, but I think that is. Yeah. That's the dump part might have been added, but it's when babies shit, it doesn't stink.
Yeah.
And it's called the mercurium dump.
It's like their first one, right? Or their first few or something like that.
First month or something of dumps don't stink. And then it's just like, holy hell breaks loose.
Then it stinks.
Yeah. But I think that's a protection thing for parents to get used to it. I think it's part of our I remember doing it.
Like there'd be way more shaken babies if their shit smelled in the first month.
Yeah, where you're like, this thing's brand new out of the box. I can get another one. I cannot deal with this.
Oh my gosh.
If this is what I'm in for. So it's like a part of you to become attached to it and like it. Interesting. And I think it's hardwired. So you get the mercurium dump situation.
Yeah.
Like that. And so
it's quite the theory.
So I had someone puke on me once. And I'll tell you how Delta handled it in this situation. Here's how I handled it. Shit-faced, driving home from a party, 2:30 in the morning, buddy's in the back seat. I'm riding shotgun and he projectile vomits over the fucking seat onto my head. It was the grossest moment of my life. It still is. And I was just like, the driver just pulled over and I yanked him out of the car and beat his ass on 696. Like he's still puking as I'm punching him in the stomach.
Oh my God.
On 696.
That's so funny.
Like handled immediately. It was the worst. And then the guy that owned the car had to fucking clean it the next day.
Oh my
I remember that. And it was just doing that.
Yep.
This fucking has been in his car for 12 hours.
Dry heaving.
Yeah, just horrible. So this woman, the flight attendant quickly informed the captain, and of course, the plane was turned back towards the terminal.
It sounds like they were still taxiing, at least, right?
So, they just threw it in reverse and backed into the terminal.
That would irritate me a little bit less, especially because I feel like that would make the plane stink. Yeah. So bad.
As she sat there soaked in vomit, the flight attendants put on gloves and masks, but were nowhere to be found. One eventually came over and just kind of tossed 2 small towelettes at her. and cocktail napkins. Once the cleaning crew was on board, the flight attendants moved Laura and her daughter to another area. She wasn't offered any further assistance and sat there in soaking wet clothes the entire 3-hour flight.
No.
Yeah. Laura filed a complaint. with Delta, waited about a week and a half before getting what she described as a textbook response. What do you think the response from Delta would be?
What's her name?
Laura.
Dear Laura, it's unfortunate the experience that you had when on flight Delta number DL135. Our flight attendants did exactly what they were supposed to do in that situation, and here's a $5 drink credit. Something along those lines.
Okay, not bad. I don't know about the cordials and that kind of stuff. Probably fair. They offered her $120 credit for her convenience.
They didn't even refund the full flight.
Nah. They still flew you there, is their argument. Like, fuck you. We still flew you there.
That is so crazy to me, that kind of response from such a large corporation. Because at some point, I'm into the business world. I work for a large company. When you fuck up like that, and it's such an easy fix, you take care of it because you can.
What do you think? What's an appropriate fix? Like, I think you got to, if someone pukes on you,
you reimburse the cost of the flight in the original form, and you give them a fucking $500 flight credit or something.
I think you cut them a check for $1,000 and say, sorry about your wardrobe. Like, whatever.
They're only getting $30,000 if the flight lands on its top. They're not going to give you $1,000 if someone vomits, or $1,000 if someone vomits on you.
She said, and this sounds like it came right out of your mouth. Who in their right mind would agree to let someone puke on them, then scoop it with their hands in a towelette, and then sit wet in puke for 3 hours on a flight for $120 credit?
Right.
Yeah, that's what you would have said.
100%.
Like,
100%.
Dude.
That is such bullshit. And because they have the ability to make it go away, and now they have the bad PR is not even worth it.
No, it's funny to give the bad PR to the Spirits of the world and the Frontier. Right. Like, we do that all the time, but Delta kind of keeps their nose clean in a lot of this.
Yeah.
It's like, make that go away. A week later, you respond with $120 credit. It's more insulting than anything. And the fact that it's a credit.
A credit. You have to refund the original payment and give a credit.
Yeah, and don't give me this bullshit like, oh, it's good for the next 6 months. Like, now I'm forced to fly somewhere in the next 6 months or a year.
You share Delta stock. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know why they get to do that. Like, reimburse the money.
It's such a bad thing.
And this credit thing, like, I never remember that I had a gift card to something or a credit thing. It's such a scam, most of it. Yeah. And trying to even get those, it seems like more of a pain in the ass than it's worth half the time. It's like, no, how about, you know what? I'm wearing, this is a $200 shirt and a $150 pair of pants and my shoes. Mm-hmm. It's all gross. I'm not dry cleaning any of this. It had Fat Bill's puke all over it.
Fat Bill.
Yeah, it's some slob. You know it is. It's not going to be some supermodel that pukes on you. It's going to be that guy.
100%.
You know that guy.
For sure.
Stir Crazy says, I'd get puked on for $500. Yeah, I know. German porn films have been doing this for decades.
Yeah, we all saw Two Girls, One Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Laura received a phone call from a Delta agent addressing her complaint, who claimed, what do you think she claimed?
A Delta agent?
Yeah.
That it wasn't their fault.
There's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, absolutely. As a multinational company, corporate like that, there's probably a lot you could do.
Yeah. There's a ton you can do, for sure.
Tons. Tons. A Delta spokesperson said, we apologize to the customer for their experience. Our customer care team reached out to the customer for a resolution. I think you got to go big. I think you got to go big, even $1,000. A few people reflected on how they would react due to their emetophobia, which is the irrational fear of vomiting or seeing others vomit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I bet we all have that. Like, do you know anybody that, like,
who doesn't have that? Who's like, you know what? I don't know. I don't think I'd mind if someone vomited on me.
Dude.
There's probably some weird, like there's scat freaks out there.
Well, sure, there's those. The German porn industry has been using that sort of thing. But the natural reaction when someone pukes is you can be with 10 people and 8 of them are going to go,
yes. Yes.
I can't look at that. Like, that's what happens with 90% of us.
Yes, correct.
It's not me feeling sick. It's not me puking, just seeing someone else's.
Yeah.
Which is wild. These people, this is literally my worst nightmare. I probably would have passed away. I have emetophobia, and if that happens to me, my screams would be the medical emergency. Yeah. God, planes.
That would be awful.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. I think you got to go big though. That's you.
Yeah,
you
100%.
need the good.
Such an easy fix. You definitely got to go big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike, do you happen to have this story about the toy that I think I sent you? I sent you a screenshot of my response to it because she got caught. This teacher got caught. She's really not that bad, and I want to show you something.
Wait, when did you send me this?
I sent it to you. I sent it to you yesterday, and I was like, did she get caught? Did they get caught because he was too busy high-fiving
high-fiving all his friends? Yeah. Dude, didn't we do that story?
I wasn't sure if that was who it was.
Yes.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. I didn't know there was body cam footage. That's part of the one. Yeah, that's the chick that we were doing the story about.
And this is what she looks like?
Yeah. Should we hear?
Not bad.
No. And the picture of her and him, they look like a couple. Where he's on the baseball team.
I didn't see a picture of him.
Yeah, there's a picture of him and her, and he's like in his full baseball uniform. Like, it's.
Well, Mike, did we talk about what the text said that they found between the two of them?
I think we did a little bit, but I don't remember. Why? What were they?
The teenager says, "I love you so much, Mama." The teacher says, "I love you so much, baby. Even though this morning was short, it was perfect."
Yeah.
The teenager, "I know, baby. It was perfect, baby. So perfect." Teacher, "I love having sex with you." Student, "I know, baby. I love it so much. It feels so good. It's so passionate. It's so intimate. It's so perfect."
Yeah.
And then they find like all these notes in her note thing that says, like, this says, "He and the defendant developed feelings for each other one morning in December 2023, met up in her classroom, closed the door, which automatically locked. They started kissing. He grabbed her butt. She grabbed his dick over the clothes. Yep. Then she removed his pants and underwear. He removed her leggings, and they engaged in sexual intercourse while standing up."
Nice. This is right out of the movie.
And I mean, imagine when he walked out to his buddies.
Oh my God.
Could you even imagine?
Broken arm from the high fives. No, it's mind blowing. We've been talking about these stories for 12 years, and it's mind blowing that you think like a teenage boy is not going to keep that. Troy would have. Would have been the one.
100%.
Because Troy was doing that with neighbors and like 15. Like, and like, but that's a miracle. Like, you're just not, there's no fucking way. Like, everybody, see if you can find the picture. I'm almost positive.
Do you want to watch some of this body cam and you can see how she kind of freaks out? So they just pull up behind her in her driveway.
You can just grab whatever you need.
Whatever I need?
Yeah, whatever you need, like your phone, your purse, go ahead and grab it.
Is she going somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we're going to explain everything to you guys, so go ahead and turn around for me.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with?
Yeah, he's taking his phone number down. We're staying in touch with him. We're just going to Downers Grove, so 10 minutes away.
No, I know, but I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
Of course.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Am I in trouble? Like, I'm so lost right now.
This is after she talks to
I'm feeling I'm going to throw up.
Yes,
please.
All right.
Poor boy.
His mom saw your fucking retarded texts, baby.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Yeah, the mom narked him out. He's never going to speak to his mom again.
No, like, Mom, you ruined that for me. You know what? You know what, though? When I saw those texts, you know what pissed the mom off? He called her mama.
You think?
That probably sent her skyrocketing over the edge.
You think so?
100%. That was my first thought when I read that text was like, oh, I bet that really set her off. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
No, you aren't his mama. I'm his mama.
Yeah. Yeah. See if you can find the picture of the two of them. He dressed in baseball gear.
And what's her name? I'm trying to remember what her name is.
Yeah.
It was in Illinois, I think, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, these toiks, and also the trans teachers that keep posting now.
Christina Formella.
Yeah. Are so out of line with, like, I go back to my childhood. We've talked about it 1,000 times. No, teachers didn't even have first names. You didn't know if they were married, had kids. You didn't care. They were homely, mostly hideous looking. Yeah, that picture. That one there. Can you blow that one up?
Yeah, I'm trying to, where did it go? Oh, here it is.
Doesn't that just look like any fucking young couple? Like, oh my God.
Does.
Yeah. Like sexual assault. Hilarious.
Wait,
hilarious.
No, this is her husband.
Is that her husband? Is that her husband?
Yes, because I was going to say this is 2018. So this is her husband. They just got married.
Oh, that poor dude.
They both went to Concordia University, Chicago.
Okay. You know what?
So
I was
I don't
thinking
think we've seen the, like, she looks super pretty there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I bet all these boys wanted her.
Oh, of course. Look at her. As I was saying it, I was like, wait a minute. I hope I have the right guy, because they'd blur out a kid's face.
Yeah, they would. And if you're her husband, do you stay with her?
No.
How long do you think she's going to go to jail for?
I don't know, like a weekend or something. She just won't be able to teach anymore, which, whatever. Right. You know. I mean, she's a glorified babysitter. I mean,
look at what's her face who married that that
yeah,
who was it?
The guy that hated her.
That hates her now.
Yeah, hated her. Villy Falau or whatever.
Yeah. Who is that? Mary Kay
Letourneau. Yeah.
I mean, she got pregnant and she's out living her best life.
She was the Columbine of toys.
Great analogy, Mike.
Right?
Great analogy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was kind of like, holy shit. And then she was crazy and like, no, this is real love. And it's like, you see Villy Falau those years later with the kids, and you can tell that's the last place on earth he wants to be.
He hates his life so much.
He couldn't even fake it for a 2020 interview and just be like, oh my God, totally made the best decision when I was 13.
So happy.
Stand by it.
Yeah. No, the kid was not special ed as well. He was on the soccer team. I mean, could you imagine if it was one of the special ed kids? I mean, he would have been just blabbing, high-fiving everybody.
but nobody would have believed him.
Big E fucks the hot teacher.
Yeah, nobody would have believed him. She could have been like, yeah, the retard said that. Yeah, sure. Look at me.
But I mean, she presumably was like super in love with this kid.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. What do you think when the police got there and they put handcuffs on her and she was playing dumb? Do you think she knew why they were there?
That's a good question. She should have.
I wonder if she was just racking her brain, like, what the fuck did I do? But you would have to know. You would have to know that is what it was about.
It'd be a pretty big one floating out there.
Yeah.
Like you would have to know when they're like step out of the car and once the handcuffs go on, and I've never seen those black handcuffs. Those are kind of dope.
Those are cool.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
Once those go on and you're sitting in the car and you have the nerve to ask the cop, like, what is this even about? Like, would it dawn on you at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking that 15-year-old kid from my school.
Right.
Because that would come out of left field. You're doing all the, oh my God, it's so passionate, baby, send. all the stupid emojis they would have been sending.
Yeah.
What was
And I think he might be broken up right now, like the student and the teacher. Like I think they were in one of their off periods. Sounds like they have a volatile relationship.
Yeah, that happens when she's
like
married.
She has these notes of like, I tried to end it so many times and I hate myself that I fell in love with a 16-year-old, and it's like, geez. And then I think she tried to say they were just manifestations.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's going to fly. She would have had to have put 2 and 2 together, like mom must have seen his, or he opened his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're committing an incredible amount of crime, you would have to. Unless you're just like criminal.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just going about her day with her husband, driving around like, oh, what do you even say to that guy? Like, okay, hear me out. Like, what? Well, like, honestly.
Oh, is my husband coming with me? Dude, like,
yeah.
You do not want your husband there for this. Trust me.
No. You don't want your husband anywhere near you anytime soon.
Which makes me feel like she didn't know what it was about, but I don't know.
That's way worse, right? Like, cheating's gone on forever. I can't say I'm a perfect person, right? But when it's like 15-year-old student, 13-year-old, like that's way worse, right?
Really? You're
like,
fucking some dude who can't last more than 2 seconds because he's sleeping with his hot teacher over me, your husband?
Yeah, and you have to go get him because he can't drive yet. Like, you have to sneak out somewhere because he can't have sleepovers.
It's so wild to me that these teachers are just willy-nilly texting their kids, their students. Like, my God, you're not even using Signal. Take a page out of the government's book and at least use Signal and encrypted apps if you're going to be breaking the law.
Yeah, that badly. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I was going to say,
he's like 17 and 9 months and he graduated already, and whatever.
And like she's a 20-year-old. Yeah,
I feel like there needs to be an age. Like, I don't think anyone in their 20s should work at a high school. They're too close in age. I feel like the temptation is just there. But when you're like, I'm in my late 30s. Those kids are little fucking kids. When I go to that high school, I'm like, those are little kids. I mean, but when you're in your 20s and that kid's 17, you're like, I mean, I don't know, he's only 4 years younger than me. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more temptation there. Like, maybe we keep the 20-year-olds in the elementary schools.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. There's, I don't know what it is. If it's social media, it's got to be social media related. But I don't remember a time in my scholastic career where there was any, like, it always seemed like they were old fucking homely bags. Yes. Like, that's it. This idea of a 23-year-old fucking knockout being in a, like, I don't remember that ever. I don't remember a lot of teachers' assistants.
No.
Stuff like that. Like, maybe
you might have had like a decent looking substitute every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the hot sub's here again.
Yeah, I sort of remember that, maybe like vaguely, but not even really.
Well, they had that period where they bought out all those older teachers so that they could kind of start fresh with new teachers that they didn't have to pay as much. Like, my mom was one who took a buyout, 15, 20 years ago. She took a buyout. And so, they basically paid her to leave early. Then they hired all these young teachers in. And so I think that's what we're experiencing, is just younger teachers.
Yeah. There has to be something you could point to like that. That would make sense. If it's like, there was a national thing where we kind of wanted to refresh this. We got rid of the 70-year-old people and we brought in a bunch of, young recruits in their 20s. And because there's way too many of these where it's like, that girl's hot enough. She's like way hotter than
that teacher
like,
was too hot to work in a high school.
Right. Like way too hot to be hanging around. There's way too many of them. And I stopped doing the stories. It had to be like, okay, it's a gangbang with a scream mask on.
Yeah, right.
Like just being hot and banging a student was so common. Like, and everybody my age says the same thing. Like, where were these chicks when I was in school? I don't remember. So something had to happen. And then you mix that with the social media aspect of it, where
just sliding
I'm not
into DMs.
Like they're able to go and see pictures because the hot teacher posted pictures of her and her family at the beach in the summer, and she's in a bikini, and these horned up fucking kids, they're working an angle.
Yeah.
Like they are, it's no different than going to the mall and hitting on the girl that works at Cinnabon who's kind of cute.
Yeah.
It's like they're seeing them out of their element for the first time in their life, out of like just the prissy making you do assignments lady.
Yeah.
They're seeing you like as a human being with friends at a bar for
you're responding with the little fire emoji response. Mrs. Formella is out with her girls having fun, and the kid likes it, sends a fire emoji, or hey, Miss Formella, you looked good at the bar.
Yeah.
She knows he's interested, and
totally.
It's like you totally understand and see why it's happening. And listen, I understand it's not right and it's also illegal, and this is how
oh no.
It's a cheap boy who's
wait, say that again. You cut out.
Oh God, my fucking mic.
Yeah, it seemed like it might have been the connection, but you're all right.
So if you're a 15, 16-year-old kid who sleeps with his hot 21-year-old teacher, I'm just not that. I think the kid's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's gonna be fine. But reverse it, and a female student and her teacher, it's fucking weird and creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't even pretend to get into the mindset of females, but there's just something different about the development and the dream. Like for at least with my age group, it was like, how many can you crush? What does your team 100%. Photo look like?
Yeah.
Like how many notches in the belt? And the girl, it's a totally different thing. It's like a dream scenario of I've found Prince Charming. I've found the one. I'm going to have a family. Like they're like you could say that's just old thinking. And hey, women are different, but it's I don't know. There's so many that are like that. That scenario rings true.
I mean, a kid turns 12, 13. I don't know how old, and then he's like, you're finding Kleenexes and old socks in the bathroom because he's jacking it every 5 minutes. And you're shocked that he wants to fuck everything that moves. Like, really?
Of course.
And if one of your hot teachers is like, okay.
And honestly, if a kid's got any game at all, which they do, people like to be liked. People
100%.
like to be complimented. If you're 23, 15-year-old boys can absolutely look like 20-year-old boys that you'd see at the bar. They just can with the hormones and all the shit that's in food for these kids. It's radically changing their development timelines. And it's not uncommon to see 15-year-old boys that are absolutely look like grown-ass men. And you start, like you're talking about, the fire emoji is a good example. You can say a lot with a stupid fire emoji or a heart emoji in a post where it's like, and who doesn't like being complimented? I don't care I've never met the girl who is beautiful, especially when I was younger, that doesn't like, damn, girl, you look great today. Wow, did you get your, like, everybody, I like it if someone says like, wow, you look good. That outfit looks good on you. Like, we all do. So it makes perfect sense that these kids having access to a window they never had access to are now able to throw innocent comments at these girls.
Yep.
You know
Didn't
what I
hear
mean?
any because my everything's just stopped working. So it seemed really important, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah. Well, I was just, it's just, I think you're getting the perfect combination of social media has opened so many doors that just weren't that accessible.
100%.
Teachers in my lifetime, okay, they had a different parking lot than we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
You didn't even mingle with them, going to your car to exit for the day.
Yeah.
That's my experience. They went to their world, and if you ever saw one in the wild, it was like, ugh, what the hell is she doing out of the classroom? I really believe that would be the attitude of most people. It'd be like, why did I see Mrs. Johnson at the mall? Why was she out of the classroom?
Yes,
Do I need to bring you
100%.
back in, Names? What happened?
I don't fucking know, Mike.
It's just me now.
I don't fucking know.
There you are. So I don't know what you do about it, though, is the problem. Do you just ban hot chicks from being around?
Ban 20 to 30-year-olds from high schools.
But hotness is a spectrum. And what they're willing to do is also a spectrum. You get the former fat chick willing to do gangbangs with scream masks.
Listen, it's not a perfect solution, but I think it narrows it. I think it cuts down dramatically on the number of cases.
Or we just stop pretending it's like some crime that's going to haunt these boys for the rest of their lives.
God, how pissed do you think that kid was at his mom?
Oh, I'd never speak to my mom again.
She was so
never.
I just know when she saw him calling her mama, that must have just sent her through the roof.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I think she would have been pissed off either way, but I can almost guarantee that really bothered her.
Yeah, maybe. I would think my mom would, when I say dead to me, I mean it, dead to me. There's no coming back from that.
Fuck you, Mom.
Yeah, dude, you are the ultimate cock block, and I will never forgive this. Never.
Hey, Mike, why haven't you talked to your mom in 20 years?
Oh, well, let me tell you. Have a seat, pal. I'll tell you why I haven't spoken to my mom in 20 years. And no, I don't send her fucking Mother's Day cards. No.
She's dead to me. I found a new mama.
Yeah.
She
got in the way, is what she did. Yeah, he's never going to talk to her again. Some other controversy today. Social media rather divided about this story. A young Georgia father who left his 3 kids unattended at a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
At the playground. I think that's an important detail.
The McDonald's playground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they still had those.
Yeah, they're rare, but you can find them. While he went on a job interview. So this is Chris Lewis, 24 years old, 3 kids. Yeah, he's black. I didn't even tell you, but yeah. One of the comments said he had the first kid at 14, and I'm like, God damn, Chris, we got to work on that pullout game, dog.
Yeah, his mom wasn't breaking up whatever he had going on. She was letting him be at 14.
So this is, I think, because it is a black dude, 24, 3 kids. Rumor that the first one at 14, and no pullout game at all. This is the problem when 75% of black youth are growing up without a family in the home. He didn't have a dad to teach him the 3 B's rule, which is it's the back, belly, and breasts, which is where you pull out and go with one of the 3 B's, and then you don't run into this problem where now, but in his defense, he popped
into play.
What's that?
When does the face come into play, or does that just doesn't really work with the 3 B's and an F? So you just go with 3 B's, but know that the F is an option.
It's just one of those things. All of us guys know. Our dad sat us down at some time and was like, "Remember the 3 B's?
Yeah,
remember the 3 B's?" And you're like, "What?" And it's like, "Yeah, the butt, the back, and the breasts." And and it was like, "Okay, enough said. I got it." First thing you got to do is work on your pullout game, son. Yeah. We don't need any surprises. We don't need any bullshit.
Yeah. Yep.
But, I don't know if Chris ever had leadership like that in the household to coach him. So he got arrested after leaving his kids 1, 6, and 10 at the restaurant. After walking them there from his apartment just before 4:30 in the afternoon, a witness saw Lewis leave the children, then return to check on them before leaving again. Law enforcement was dispatched after getting a call from a concerned narc. They were waiting for Lewis. Yeah, some nosy fucking narc. It wasn't even an employee of the McDonald's.
Oh, man.
Just some, So they were waiting for Lewis when he returned to the McDonald's at 6:20, so almost 2 hours. The father told the cops he didn't want the children to walk back home alone while he had the job interview. Officers waited at the restaurant until the mom arrived to pick up the kids. He was arrested and charged with deprivation of a minor.
One could argue the 10-year-old's old enough to watch him for a couple hours.
Oh, yeah.
He's 4 years away from having a child of his own. I would say that this is probably good practice.
Yeah.
Or
right?
It was a teaching moment, and he probably was like, son, if you don't practice your pullout game, this is your life. So I'm going to sit you here with your brother and sister. You can think about it.
Dude, this would have been such commonplace back in the day, like going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Leaving, I know it's a McDonald's and I know it's the playground area. Believe it or not, there was a time when society would just kind of look out like, we got it. McDonald's would have given the kids fries.
Yeah. I think I probably would have also called the police.
Really?
Yeah. If I just saw 3 kids and no adult around, and I wouldn't do it right away. I'd probably wait and watch. But if a half hour went by and I didn't see any adult, I would probably call the police.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
They're just these kids. You don't know what the background is.
Yeah. There would have been a time when you would have just fucking not my concern, man. Not my kids, not my involvement.
I guess. I had to call the cops on the people who lived across the street from me in my old subdivision because I'm pretty sure the kids lived with the grandpa who lived at the house across the street. That's the impression I got. And I think grandpa left them while he ran to the grocery store, but they were hanging out the window. These kids were literally, there was no screen in it. And they're just hanging out the window. And I'm like, oh my God.
First floor, second floor?
Well, it was a tri-level. So, it wasn't a far drop, but also they were little kids.
I was going to say, how old are we talking?
3, 4.
Ooh, yeah, that's a little young.
There might have been a 7-year-old in there as well, but 2 really little kids that were hanging out the window. And I was like, God, I don't want to have to call the police on this guy because that's super awkward. But then 30 minutes goes by, he's not back. These kids are still hanging out the window, and I'm like, what the fuck if something happens to them? So I call the police, and I'm like, I just want to let you know that these kids are hanging out the window, and it looks super dangerous, and I don't think there's an adult there, whatever. 20 more minutes goes by, an hour goes by, grandpa's still not home, cops still aren't there. And the kids are still hanging out the window. So I call the police again. I'm like, I called you about some kids hanging out the window. And they're like, yeah, we know. We're just busy at the moment. So we'll get there when we can. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Whatever. I live in a really decent town that it's not riddled with crime. So whatever traffic stop you're at, leave it and come tend to the kids that are falling out of the window. They were leaning out, and it looked like one was holding the legs while they it was that type of, it wasn't they were just sticking an appendage out the window. They were hanging out the window.
They saw something in a TV show of hanging someone out a window, and
so then the fucking grandpa gets home before the cops get there. So I'm just sitting there.
Did you say anything?
No. And then the cops pulled up. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I felt so bad that I had called the cops on him. But also what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's weird because you can see the danger in that. I don't know. This one.
It was I was freaking out. You know what? I actually went out there and I was like, "Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Like, do you need anything? Is somebody home with you?" They went inside for a second and then they started doing it again. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
See, this is weird because kids are different. Like if I was gonna if I was at Kristen's in California, if I was at my sister's house and it was like, okay, we're leaving, I need you guys to just hold down the fort, I wouldn't trust Reed to no, he's the older one. He's like, I think he turns 11 this weekend. Happy birthday, little man. But no, Reed gets in his own play. Like, he doesn't have a concern in the world for what else is going on. Like, he's
playing video games.
He's doing his thing. A murder could be taking place downstairs, and it's just like, whatever. Hope. Good luck with that. Now, my sweet little Madison, at 7, I could be like, hey, we're taking off for a couple hours. I need you to not focus on your games or your art. I need you to be kind of in control. She'd probably handle that. She'd
100%.
probably take that responsibility and be like, yep, that's my job for the next hour is I got to make sure that the dogs are good and Reed's okay.
Yep, totally.
Marshall, he'd forget you asked him in 30 seconds, he'd forget and he'd be fucking no chance. You could leave that 10-year-old in charge of jack shit. He wouldn't be able to babysit a goldfish for an hour for you without fucking it up. So it does kind of depend, and maybe that's a girl-guy thing. That's
it 100% is.
Yeah. I feel like my sister would have been more responsible like that, where me, train wreck, you wouldn't want me in charge.
All kids, they've got their babies. Little girls have their babies, and they're good at playing mom, and, they're more responsible.
Yeah, and Madison follows her mom around the house and kind of emulates taking care of things.
Knows how to call 911.
Yeah, knows her address and her phone number.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, this story got the attention of Antonio Brown. He's quickly becoming one of my favorites. He put he started a GoFundMe titled Pursuit of Happiness. As of Wednesday morning, he'd raised over 40 grand. I guarantee he's over 50 grand now for this guy.
So was the guy really at a job interview?
Yeah, who knows? That's the story, but that's what I would tell the cops too. I wouldn't tell him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great excuse.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell him I was making a quick crack deal up the block.
I was getting my dick sucked by my side piece.
No, you'd be like, oh shit. No, I had a job interview and shit. I was just doing the job.
Yeah.
But it's funny how we create the narrative and finish the story, because that's what everybody, the libs do this all the time. This behavior here that I don't agree with means X, Y, and Z. And they've created this whole colorful story about how hateful and blah, blah, like they do it all the time, which is kind of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy just trying to better himself and look out for his family and get a job and blah, blah, blah. And society's pulling. It's like, just because the cops pulled up and he went, yeah, motherfucker, I was on a job interview and shit. Like, that's good enough for some people. Like, maybe he was. I have no idea. But it's so funny how the public gets to their keyboard and they're going to finish the story.
Yep.
This man is a hero, not a villain. He's trying to get a job to support his kids, and he correctly assumes that a 10-year-old can watch their siblings at McDonald's for a few minutes while he interviews for a job across the street. All charges should be dropped immediately. Well, 2 hours, Antonio, is a little longer than a couple minutes while I run across the street. Just saying.
Yeah.
He had a kid when he was.
And also, a 10-year-old could probably, I would trust him to watch the kids at home while I ran up to the store really quick. Not in public. Literally anything. A creep could walk up and just take them.
And
what's the 10-year-old?
The problem I have is the 1-year-old. Okay, the 10-year-old's looking after the 4-year-old. It's like, all right, that's like me and my little sister.
Yeah, one
is so little. Like, we're still diapered at one, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're telling you what they want at one.
No. No.
Yeah, that's a little
so young. But the public comes in and He had a kid when he was 14 and holds himself responsible for it. A 10-year-old can watch a sibling for a short amount of time. This is a wild overreaction on the part of law enforcement. What do you want law enforcement to do? They get called and they show up. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's not up to them either if they charge the guy or not. I mean, that's somebody else's decision. The cops just showed up and did their job.
Wild
There were
overreaction.
3 freaking abandoned kids at McDonald's.
If the kids were fine, he should be left alone to try to do his best. All that has happened here is they've turned someone that was working to be a productive member of society into someone forced to be a non-productive member of society. I have respect for this man for doing his best to better his situation, and all the police did was destroy it.
What would those people say if the 1-year-old got taken by some stranger, never to be seen again?
Or choked on a fry in the playpen when no adult was there. And like, this would be a completely different story and maybe they're right. The fact is you don't fucking know, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want the guy to go to jail forever.
No.
But just like learn from it. Maybe don't do it again.
Some people took issue. I call BS. Did you read the article? It states he was leaving and returning to McDonald's multiple times. If he was waiting for his turn to be interviewed and was uncertain about how many applicants were ahead of him or how long it would take, why not have the 10-year-old entertain the younger children safely in the apartment during the interview? Makes no sense to take the McDonald's and leave them there and then come back and repeat. Something seems off. Many noted that the location is not a good part of town. McDonald's in Augusta is not a safe place for little kids unsupervised. Maybe if it was 30, 40 years ago, not today.
Yeah.
Where
was he interviewing?
Exactly. Who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But, if he was interviewing and trying to better himself, and that story might absolutely be true. And if that's the case, I love it. Antonio Brown goes, here's $75,000, man. Good luck. Oh
my God. Antonio Brown's baby mamas are probably like, seriously? Fucking seriously?
Do
Antonio?
a GoFundMe for us. What the fuck, man?
Well, I will give a cautionary tale to leaving your kids at home while you run up to the store. This is probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago now, but in Grosse Pointe, one of my sisters knew this family. Husband had already left for work. 2 kids were there, younger kids, maybe 8 to 10 years old, something like that. Mom was like, I'll be right back. I'm just going to run up to the store really quick. Comes back. The house is burning to the ground. The kids ran upstairs and couldn't get out, and they died. Both of the kids. And she just ran to the store, and I think it was like the toaster caught on fire. And you're in the, and a kid is, well, let's get away from the fire. Let's go upstairs.
Makes perfect sense.
When an adult would be like, no, we need to get out of the house. And when firefighters showed up, they couldn't get in, and they knew the kids were in there, and it just was devastating, and lost both kids. So I suppose there is a cautionary tale to that, because who's going to think something happens in 10 minutes when I run up to the store?
Totally. No, absolutely. Now, I've you look at kids. I remember when Marsh came over to the house in Michigan, and he was like, I'm a good swimmer. And he still had little arm wings on. He's 3 or 4 years old. And his mom jumped on the phone, got a phone call, and is in the kitchen. And I walked out right then, and Marshall's in the pool. And I'm like, you literally cannot turn your back on these things for 30 seconds. Like, you just can't. That time I had Jenny Fedorovich over with her wife and their 1-year-old, and Raisa was in the pool, and Jenny and I were sitting poolside hanging out talking, and the 1-year-old is just standing on the ledge, and next thing, bloop, right in the pool. It sank like a fucking rock right to the bottom before it was like, oh shit, and jump in, grab the thing. It's like, so you like when they're a certain age, it's like, yeah, they'll just drop into the pool. They'll just crawl into the pool. Like the idea that you could have a 1-year-old and leave a 10-year-old with that kind of responsibility.
Right.
And your story is like, it would make perfect sense for kids to bolt upstairs to their rooms.
100%.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'd expect them to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Yep. We're hiding like under their bed, you know?
Yeah. Hide under their bed, under their covers, go into the closet. Yeah, for sure. Not realizing they just sealed their own fate.
Yeah.
You know?
So sad.
Yeah. It's crazy. Hey, this part of the show is brought to you by your insurance expert. Are you paying too much for health insurance? Are you uninsured? Health insurance can be confusing. Nick Matthews from Your Insurance Expert is an expert in health insurance, life insurance, and Medicare supplements, so you do not have to be. Call Nick Matthews at 248-914-1173. Please call Nick. These fucking people. I wanted to play this video. There's a new documentary out. Number 1 on the call sheet. Black Leading Men in Hollywood is the name of it. I saw that. It's got like Denzel or something. And I was like, oh, kind of behind the scenes. I haven't watched it, but actor John Boyega from Star Wars, what did he play? Finn or something? One of the later stars. He had some comments and it was posted. Let's see, where's our videos? Why are our videos pulling up?
Did Aaron mess up again?
No, because we had the titties in the airport. See if you can play them. Are you able to pull the videos up?
I can. Blacks in Star Wars.
They're pandering.
Yeah, that was my title. That was my title, not his.
They're pandering.
Let's hear it.
Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. Like, this franchise is so white that it's like a black person existing in that was something. And you can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are on the cookie dough. I'm like, bro, they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend. But once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much.
Do you think that's what the problem is? This is so...
No. And you see this happening with the classics. That's when it happens, is when you have to understand that, like, Star Wars is what it is. Snow White is what it is.
Yeah.
And so when you come in and you change it, whatever that change is, the diehard fans are going to be like, I don't know if I love that, because it's just...
Yeah.
And these are like cult classics, but nobody's sitting there saying you can't go create your own Star Wars and be your own hero, and we would watch it. It has nothing to do with that. It's just you're changing the story. You're changing what that world has been, and it just puts people off.
It seems so obvious too. Like Star Wars, the universe that was created with Star Wars is what it is. It is what it is. Like it was a lot of our childhoods. We saw these characters that included aliens and all kinds of weird things. And then you had your main characters who interacted with robots and space blue people and fucking weird lizards. Like it was what it was. So then when you get to this time period where it's roll your eyes time, like, oh God, we've all of a sudden added lesbians, fucking Asians and black. Like it stands out. No offense, but it does.
It wouldn't bother me at the same time. Like, I don't know, if you have a fucking show that has Jar Jar Binks and R2-D2, like, get over the fact that there's a black person in it. Yeah. But also just understand where these people are coming from and know that it's not this. But that's because Star Wars doesn't mean anything to me. It's not like my jam, But people are crazy over Star Wars. So I don't know. I guess if, that would be like they remade Legally Blonde and it was some brunette that played the blonde character. I'd be like,
right.
Well, this isn't Legally Blonde then. What the fuck is this brunette doing as a character?
A good example. I was going to ask you if there's something that you grew up with that you consider like yours. You engaged with it as a kid, grew up with it, Hannah Montana. Whatever it may be that you go, well, this isn't anything like what the original was. Right. And to immediately go to racism.
Yeah.
Like that's where I have a problem. Like, oh, it couldn't be anything other than they just hate black. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I look at stuff like when I was growing up, a teenager, you had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Right, created by Will Smith and Quincy Jones, like an all-black ensemble cast that was a big hit. That America sunk their teeth into. It was like, wow. You had the Cosby Show, which was basically about black culture and black people doing well, and then morphed into college life at a black university and spun off into a different world where there was even blacker and all successful hits. Coming to America is a great movie, right? Eddie Murphy did that with Arsenio Hall, with basically an all black cast.
Yeah.
That featured prominent black roles that didn't push an agenda, didn't feel like like you were shamed if you didn't watch it. There seems to be this like, nobody can have a critique about your performance or about the plot or the story development. No, no, it can only be because you're black. And I'll say like one of my favorite movies growing up, and it probably doesn't hold up. I have no idea. I haven't seen it in 25, 30 years, but was Boomerang, which was written and developed, I believe, by created by Eddie Murphy. An all black cast. Like when you look at the cast, and it was David Alan Grier, Grace Jones, John Witherspoon, Eartha Kitt, Robin Givens, Halle Berry, Eddie Murphy. And it was funny. It was heartfelt. It's about a young, good-looking Eddie Murphy in this like executive role who bangs all the chicks. And so I'll read it to you here. A cocky ad executive, Marcus, Eddie Murphy has a reputation as a ladies' man. Marcus gets a taste of his own medicine when a merger finds him working under the beautiful Jacqueline, Robin Givens, who has a similar cavalier attitude about romance. Marcus and Jacqueline become involved, but he is put off by her non-committal approach to their relationship. Meanwhile, Marcus also begins to develop feelings for Angela, Halle Berry, who is more thoughtful than Jacqueline. And it was just I remember it being funny. Like
it wasn't about them being like disenfranchised or anything,
No. So the off-putting part wasn't the color of the skin of these lead actors. Like, no, that wasn't. And I can't remember which character, John Witherspoon maybe, is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
As the older uncle or cousin, whatever. Like, there's some great roles in it.
Well, and like, here's the thing. I can't help but think that these people who have this opinion, like that gentleman, we just saw, would not have that same energy if an all-white cast remade The Cosby Show or an all-white cast remade Coming to America. Right. That would be cultural appropriation. It would not even make it to the box office because it would be shut down and canceled immediately. We'd be taking, over their culture, and it would be this whole big thing. And so when you flip it, like, I need you to keep that same energy, because if that's going to bother you, then that means that must mean you're racist, right? Because that's what you think of us when it bothers us that you are now, there's or making a female James Bond, for example.
Yeah.
James Bond is not a female.
No. Go make Jane
make
Bond. Go make whatever you want.
Make
but
a new movie where the lead is a female, but you
The-
don't have to remake James Bond.
right. Or it's not James Bond. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's just not.
right.
Like the Star Wars one is interesting, and it was someone else's take, not mine. I'd give credit if I remembered, but it was like Star Wars starts with episode 4, 5, and 6 before going back to 1, 2, and 3, and then doing 7, 8, 9. So if you're someone young following the chronology of Star Wars now, it's going to be super confusing when you get to the crux of those movies. Like, what happened to all the wheelchaired lesbian trans people in this universe? Like, why did they disappear all of a sudden out of nowhere?
It's so true. It's so true. That's a great point.
It's just a weird thing that you're trying to force in there.
Totally. Because as a fan, I didn't think about this. It's a great point. As a fan, you're thinking of, I know where this goes.
Right.
And so to go back, and because when we go there, these people aren't there. Mm-hmm. So like you said, where are they? And that's why, they have such a cult following. They have people who are so invested in what happens. And, so when you're going back and you're recreating this story that, has no connection to the future, you're probably like, what? This is off the rails, you know?
Yeah. No, it's just, it's dumb. And it is what it is. Like, Star Trek was created. Star Wars was created. Barbie was created. Those Snow White was created. Like, it is what it is. Like, take ownership in developing whatever franchise you want and see if you can get a public to get behind it and support it. They tried with Black Panther. Whatever. It seems forced to me, and people don't like being told what they're going to like. Right. It's like, no, the public will tell you when they like something. And when you start forcing things on them, like, you're just going to love this wheelchair bound fucking superhero out of the blue for no reason. Like, no, it's when you start forcing it and it feels like that, instead of just the storytelling and the plot being what it is, and if you want to go, I'm the superstar in Hollywood, I refuse to do Snow White. I think it's an antiquated tale, or I don't like the way that was, the patriarchy was developed, and it seemed like, fine, don't do that movie then. I'd have respect for you if you didn't take the multi-million-dollar paycheck and then want to be a cunt about it afterwards. Like, that's where you lose people. Right. And trying to find hatred in everything. Like, John, you should be grateful that they welcomed you into this universe. What can you do with it? And, that's incredible. You were part of the Star Wars universe. You're part of that. Like, who's going to pick up the mantle behind you and create a spin-off of that storyline? Like, I wouldn't want to work with someone like that who at the first hint of, we can blame everybody else and blame racism societally for any issue I have.
Right.
Like,
right.
It just, I don't know, man. It just seems so short-sighted and so wrong, but I don't know. Let's do some emails and call it a day, Ames. When are you driving or did you fly?
I
thought you said you were in the car for 6 hours yesterday. And I was like, did she drive to Chicago?
Yeah, I drove. So when you fly to Chicago, first of all, the flights are always delayed, which is super irritating.
Yeah.
And it is a quick flight, but like by the time you get to the airport and you sit around and you wait for your flight and it's delayed, you're like, I could be halfway fucking home by now. I could be, smoking,
listen to music, and,
jamming out to music, and
So, dude, I'm right there with it. Chicago's a tough one because Chicago is in that period. Like, it was one thing when going to the airport was just easy. You could just kind of breeze through security. But they've turned it into something where it's like, it better, really offset what would be drive time. But that 5-hour drive to Chicago, it's like, forget it. I'll just do that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm with you.
For sure.
All right. Hey, guys, the show sounded slightly more retarded than usual yesterday. Your grievance is 100% legit. Well, yeah, I agree. I get it. Look.
Yeah, let me see this email. I'm going to need whoever wrote this email to also message me.
Yeah,
because I need proof that Mike's reading this accurately.
Look, I get it. Everyone wants to attack the cult leader, take me down a peg. And life has proven in many aspects when you give someone even the slightest hint of power, they abuse it, which is what I run into all the time. I grade fairly. I take people at their grievance. I listen intently and I fairly rate them. I don't abuse my powers ever. And that's kind of what I deal with. So your grievance is 100% legit. Both E's are old man retarded. His were so insignificant, I don't even remember what they were. Okay. Amy's is first world as fuck.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay. Hey, take it up with the email.
Lies.
Don't take it up with me.
So many lies. Oh, yeah. Heaven forbid Mike sit through a 30-second fucking wedding scene, but I have to drive 20 miles out of my way to get Starbucks. Okay? Yeah, I realize, but I'm I need caffeine.
First world. That's all he said. Yesterday, you said
Mike,
anyone
you wrote this from your burner account. I
did not write this from a burner account, and I can prove it because it continues. Yesterday, you said anyone named Bruno has to be a badass. Stand by that. You don't name a kid Bruno that can't take care of himself.
Yeah.
I assure you that in this case, that isn't true. This is 5-month-old Bruno, and he's one of the biggest pussies I've ever met. Hey, look at Bruno.
Oh.
Look at Bruno.
Mike Googled a random dog.
He did not.
Yeah.
He did not. Look at Bruno. Yeah. He's not hurting anybody. Look at that flopped ear.
Yeah. Playing with
he's got his red toy.
Yeah. His baby.
So, yeah, if I was, that would be, I don't even know what the word is for the level of shit bag I would have to be to go to that length to concoct a fake email.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I
don't have any proof that that's not what happened. So
I'm going to need people to forward all emails.
Yes.
To Ames as well. All right. Aaron, we're going to need a Amy at TDC Podcast email.
Make it happen.
Sort of burner email for her.
Yep.
And you guys can send all your dick pics to her. I mean cute puppy pictures. Like Bruno's Look at that
Bruno.
guy. Yeah. I want to play with Bruno. E-Rock show was awesome. The whole show's pretty good. You got to get used to James's temperament. Like this is just his deliverance.
Sure.
Pretty good. Accepting her disdain for the only non-satanic Disney movies.
Oh, which ones?
Accept her disdain for the only non-satanic Disney movies. Written like an asshole wrote it.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he's talking about that bullshit you were talking about. That
dude,
no I got seen.
Nope. Someone else wrote me and said
someone tweeted me too.
And said it's female empowerment. It's about, little guys getting a leg up, and it's a great movie. I stand by it. The Rescuers.
Yeah.
That's your weekend assignment. Watch The Rescuers and tell me that's not a fucking dope movie. Dude, it's a real Disney movie.
To be honest, like me watching The Rescuers, I would need to be stuck on an airplane for like 45 hours after someone was running up and down the aisle naked and we had to, that's like the only where I'm like, God, what do I watch now?
Dude, you have me basically going to fucking law school to study for the Karen Reed case. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough, Mike.
You can give me an hour and 24 minutes for The Rescuers.
Is there good songs in it? Songs that I can diddy bop to?
I think so. Dude, it's classic Disney. It's classic Disney. All
right, I'll watch.
For real. And I think you're going to come back and be like, oh my God, you're so right. That bitch scared the shit out of me too. Those guys are awesome.
I wonder if when I watch it, I'm going to be like, oh, I remember this.
I just didn't leave
like an imprint on me,
Yes. She needs some schooling. And then he says, Connor email shows. Wonderful, always spot on, ending to great shows. And then he says, yesterday's show, can't put my finger on it, but way more libtarded than normal. Are his feet still hot? Correction.
Oh, good question.
He hates all patriotic Americans. I think that's a shot at ISIS.
I'm going to have to ask E tomorrow what the feet situation is.
Yeah. And then he said he takes up your grievance about Starbucks.
James does?
Yeah. And he just says the whole
And it wasn't Starbucks right away.
I know.
It was just, in
He
general.
said, just go to Buc-ee's only. Then it's worth the drive, and you're not supporting that satanic Starbucks.
Everything's satanic.
Everything.
Okay, listen. Say I just need to get a fucking cheeseburger, okay, at McDonald's. How about that? I just need to get a cheeseburger. I'm starving, and I get off at the exit, and it's 5 miles down the street. I'm hangry. I'm going to be irritated.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I gave you a bona fide.
Especially if you drive for a living, it's very irritating.
It is, and the only reason I would have called this so entitled pussy old man until I did multiple cross country excursions, going from Phoenix to Detroit to Phoenix in the car, going from Phoenix to California and back. Once you do that a couple times, I know exactly what you're talking about, because when you're in those legs and it's like, I just need to get in and out. And I've run into that too, where it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes, it's 3.5 miles off that. Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
And you kind of count on those signs going, yeah, it's right here, dude. There's gas right here. There's a McDonald's and a Burger King and a Wendy's right here.
Yeah.
It needs to be right there. So I gave you bona fide, but some people are taking issue with it. That's what they do. So what are you going to do about it? David says, dude, great call on the story about playing pickleball with kids. I just got off a cruise with my niece and her kids, and that's exactly what happened to me. It made me laugh out loud. It sucked so bad. You have been killing it lately with Amy. What a great addition.
Thanks.
Is that a fake email too? Did I generate that one too?
Yeah. I sent it.
Are you David?
Maybe.
Hilarious.
Mike, that's probably how your mom feels playing tennis with you.
No, I'm good. I can hold my own. Maybe
She's
when I was a kid.
Oh man, I got to play with my son. He's such a
he can't
load
even move.
with a racket.
He can barely move.
Yeah.
Shit, I have to hit it right at him. Otherwise, he cries like a baby. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Send us your emails, messages. You guys know how to get a hold of me. I appreciate it. Walters@DetroitCast.com. Member show tomorrow, patreon.com/TDC Podcast. Become a member, get the 4th show. It's a lot of fun.
Yes. Like and share wherever you're listening right now as well.
Yes.
And yes, Mike, tomorrow I'll be back in Michigan, but I'll text you depending on what time I leave here. We might have to go a little bit later, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's fine. No, dude.
I know the later the better for you. So.
Yeah, no, doesn't matter at all. So just text me during the day and let me know. Give me a heads up.
Okay.
I have to return a car tomorrow. So.
Oh, big day for you then, Mike.
Yeah, big day for me. I got to turn the Explorer in.
Oh, okay.
So I've got to go deal with, I don't know how long that takes, but I got to go do that anyways. So we going later is no big deal. Have a safe rest of the trip. Enjoy that horribly messy bed.
I will.
Go crawl in. Go back to bed. All right.